Alright, I just want to make a mention and say this took 24 hours to record. I don't know what's wrong with this story. I don't know if it's like cursed. I don't know if like people aren't allowed to or supposed to watch it or anything because I listened to it like thousands of times after this, and it scares me every single time. It's that Fluttershy image that really gets me with her face pressed up against the wind. I don't like it. It's scary. Uh, but leave some episodes of My Little Pony in the comments, and I'll pick one of my favorites to do a reaction to. I've seen almost every episode, and I know a lot about the show, so I might as well do reactions to it. So, if you guys want that, let me know. Probably not every episode. I'll probably just do my favorite episodes or whatever. I don't know. That's the update. Took 24 hours to record. New video coming tomorrow. Happy Valentine's Day. I guess this is my Valentine's Day special. It was supposed to come out yesterday, but it didn't turn out, so yeah, stuff happens, but I hope everyone enjoys no matter what. Alright guys, welcome to my channel if you're new, or welcome back if you're not. This is a My Little Pony creepypasta. This is called Let Her In. The thumbnail looks terrifying. 99 looks terrifying from the little screen caps I see on screen right now. But you know what? We're gonna go for it. And I'm gonna try and do a reaction to Friends with Magic soon, because I like the show, and I don't know what episode to do, so leave some suggestions. Alright, here we go. 3, 2, 1, now. I'm not ready. I'll throw up the thumbnail real quick. But be warned, it's scary, so... This, no joke, freaks me out, just by the thumbnail alone. I don't like the way this looks. And this effect's great. I was thinking about waltzes with the lights off, but no. Nope.
Night 1. A hoof tapped against the window panes. It was 4 in the morning, and Fluttershy was standing outside of Apple Bloom's bedroom window.
It's 1 o'clock in the morning, too.
Her eyes were blank, and her smile slight enough to go virtually unnoticed.
It's like really late.
As Apple Bloom turned her head towards the window, Fluttershy raised a hoof and tapped against the glass again. She mouthed 4 words, her mouth barely moving.
It's cold out here.
That's a good flow-side voice.
Apple Bloom pulled the covers over her head. She listened to the creaks and groans of the house settling.
Sounds just like her.
It would be dawn soon. The tapping started again.
This guy's great at narrating horror stories. I listened to a Powerpuff Girls one like last night, and I freaked out.
Night 2.
He's got that voice.
Fluttershy was standing outside of the window again. Her eyes didn't look quite right, but Apple Bloom would have been at a loss if asked to describe how. The dark red stain across the left of Fluttershy's face contrasted harshly with her normally bright fur. She again tapped on the glass, again mouthing those 4 words.
It's cold out here.
Stop it.
It was not cold. If anything, it was an unusually warm spring night. Apple Bloom pulled the covers up to her muzzle. A part of her wanted to open the window and let Fluttershy in.
What was that?
Yet there was that whisper at the back of her young mind.
What was that?
No,
Some part of Apple Bloom's brain said.
do not open the window.
What was that?
So she merely sat there, staring into Fluttershy's slightly off eyes. Sleep
What was
seemed
that?
a remote possibility, but eventually it came. Apple Bloom dozed
know what that
off
is.
just as the tapping stopped.
What is that? Oh my gosh, that's free. That's
Night
the thing for the
3.
thumbnail.
That night, Apple Bloom dreamed of toys. Not merely toys in general, but familiar plush or wooden faces from her childhood. She saw the wooden dolls Granny Smith had given her. The hand-me-downs from Big Macintosh and Applejack were also there. Although they looked dingier than Apple Bloom remembered, she found herself digging through what seemed to be an unending pile of toys.
What am I looking for?
Apple Bloom wondered. Apple Bloom decided a minute later it must be King Paws, her favorite teddy bear. She remembered loving him immensely when she was a foal. But why couldn't she find him? Surely he must be somewhere.
Face, bro.
Surely this relic of Apple Bloom's foalhood was not so easily buried. But King Paws hadn't been buried. Had he? He had gone missing. He had vanished from her life one spring night. And Apple Bloom had never been quite the same since. With this realization, Apple Bloom started to sob. This rush of emotion yanked her out of her dream. Fluttershy was standing outside the window again. Clutched in her mouth was a tattered, old teddy bear.
Oh, I hate that face so much.
Night 4. Apple Bloom slept in Applejack's bed that night. She made up some excuse about nightmares, horribly aware of how immature she sounded. But her big sister was more than willing to switch bedrooms for the night.
Maybe that's why.
And of course, Apple Bloom could not tell her the real reason she was so distraught. Lying in bed, Apple Bloom started thinking about her foalhood for some reason. She recalled bright eyes peering out from an open wardrobe, shadows slinking across the floor, a husky sigh as she approached sleep.
What the heck is that?
But those were not memories.
What is that?
Were they?
What is that? What
Surely
is
they were simply the remnants of past bad
what
dreams.
What are those eyes? Go away.
Applejack complained of a headache the next morning, but otherwise was none the worse for wear.
Okay, it's gone.
Night 5. Apple Bloom was alone in the house. Her siblings and grandmother had left the premises, the former due to a last-minute order, and the latter due to some business with a distant relative. They would not be back until late the next day.
Thank goodness.
Prior to bed, Apple Bloom locked all the doors and windows in the house. She made a bed for herself on the living room couch, and as one final precaution, Apple Bloom took an old garden hoe from the barn. She laid it next to her makeshift bed within Hoof's reach. It was raining outside. Apple Bloom listened to the raindrops splattering against the roof as she dozed off. Occasionally, she was convinced she heard something else. A footstep? A bang? A whisper? No. It was her imagination. Or perhaps the wind. Apple Bloom snuggled deeper under the blanket.
Oh no. No. No.
More noises. They sounded as if they were coming from her bedroom. But that was impossible.
No.
The window was closed. But was it closed? Apple Bloom sat up, her heart pounding. She thought her locking down of the house had been thorough. But hadn't she intentionally avoided her bedroom, trusting the window to be closed? Yet any pony in her family could have opened it prior to their leaving.
Why would they open her window? Why? Why would Granny Smith want to do that?
Even more noises, banging, and perhaps footsteps. And Apple Bloom was now certain they were coming from her room. She clutched the blanket, quivering. What was she going to do? Investigate? Flee?
Okay.
But what if it really was her imagination, and the window was firmly shut? If so, stepping out of the house might put her in more danger.
I hate the sound effects.
Apple Bloom threw off the blanket and dropped to the floor. She had to know. Perhaps she was trotting to her own death. but it was better than simply waiting for some unknown horror to grab her.
20 minutes, by the way.
Apple Bloom took the garden hoe in her mouth before she headed up the stairs.
Please don't.
The house was silent,
Scary.
but Apple Bloom was not fooled. She approached her bedroom with caution. A part of her expected the door to fly open and for some awful creature to pounce.
Stop with the face.
But having a weapon of sorts made Apple Bloom feel brave. Brave enough to gently push the door open without hesitation. The window was open. The wind, now practically howling, was slapping sheets of rain and leaves into the room. Judging by the twigs and leaves that had accumulated under the window, it had been open for a while.
Why did someone open the window, though? What?
But the window was not the part that made Apple Bloom pause.
What is that?
It was not the cause of the scream that climbed halfway up her throat. She saw it within seconds.
I don't like that. What is that?
And once she did, Apple Bloom thanked Celestia she had not stepped into the room. Something was in Apple Bloom's bed.
Oh no.
A pony-shaped lump was visible under the covers.
Nope.
It was
there's
moving,
a face again. Nope.
its chest rising and falling with every breath. Apple Bloom thought she smelled something rotting and dusty, like the pages of a very old book. But she could have imagined it. Apple Bloom did not move.
Oh, I hate it.
Neither did the creature, save for its breathing. Apple Bloom realized the creature did not seem to notice she was there. It did not stir as she stood frozen in the doorway, nor did the wind and rain seem to disturb it.
Did that face testicles again?
Apple Bloom eventually left the room, quietly shutting the door behind her. She went back downstairs, slower this time, as not to make too much noise.
What's he do?
Apple Bloom ended up spending the night in the barn. When her family returned and demanded an explanation, she made up some half-believable story about a burglar. She refused to return to the house until all the rooms had been searched. As Apple Bloom had expected, no signs of a break-in were found, save for the open window in her bedroom. Apple Bloom returned to her bedroom after the search was complete. Other than a few dry leaves and the lingering smell of decay, there was no indication of anything having slept in her bed. However, Apple Bloom found that one of the dresses in her wardrobe was covered with dirt and what appeared to be a single, bloody hoofprint.
Oh shoot.
Apple Bloom burned the dress in the fireplace later that day.
If I'm not reacting to anything, it's because I'm just kind of out of it. Well, stop. Okay.
Night 6.
I'm kind of like
Apple
tired.
Bloom stayed up all night. She was sleeping to the point of near madness, but she refused to tear her eyes from the window. Fluttershy was watching her yet again. This time, she held a single piece of ripped cloth from her mouth. It was from the dress Apple Bloom had burnt. Apple Bloom had buried the remains of it in the yard. Apple Bloom thought of the eyes and the shadows that seemed to have haunted her early foalhood. She was now convinced she had also heard scratching noises and perhaps tapping. But memories and nightmares had become interchangeable as of late. Apple Bloom was not wholly convinced they were not one and the same. The two sat locked in what seemed to be a staring contest until morning came. As soon as Celestia's light poked its way through the clouds, Fluttershy turned and trotted away.
Bye, Fluttershy.
Apple Bloom did not get up from her bed. It was minutes before she at last gave in to slumber.
Music doesn't help. Music don't help.
Night 7. Applejack had found the remains of the dress and demanded to know why Apple Bloom was burning her clothes.
I'm going full volume.
She also asked Apple Bloom about her apparent sleeping troubles and her hostility towards Fluttershy. Apple Bloom confessed nothing. She made excuses that were far from plausible. Apple Bloom did not care if her sister was satisfied or not. A part of her hoped Applejack would send her away, perhaps to a relative's house.
Yeah, but
At least, Apple Bloom would be far away from this nightmare if that happened.
what if he follows you?
But Applejack had not sent her away. Apple Bloom was certain Applejack was consulting Big Macintosh over the matter.
I like Big Mac.
But for the time being, she was forced into another staring contest with Fluttershy, or whatever loathsome creature wore Fluttershy's face, outside her window.
What is with Fluttershy and Apple Bloom? What's with this?
Fluttershy pressed her hooves against the window. Her eyes seemed larger than they should have been. She appeared mournful, as if denied some great conquest.
The glitching isn't helping.
Apple Bloom could only stare for so long before she turned away.
I'm scared of this. Like, I have a window right over
Fluttershy
there.
mouthed those familiar words
I'm
again.
just looking at it, bro.
It's cold out here.
Apple Bloom stuck her head underneath the covers. She did not hear Fluttershy tapping at the window, but that mournful face had taken over her thoughts.
Stop.
Night 8.
We're not even
Apple Bloom thought she might have been sleepwalking the previous night, for she had not awakened in her bed, but curled up in front of the closed window.
Oh, no.
Enough is enough, Apple Bloom thought as she lay in
Her
bed.
conscience probably like...
It might have seemed like
What
a
is
brave
happening?
proclamation, but in truth, Apple Bloom was terrified. She again did not sleep.
Oh, no.
Her eyes
that's
focused on
scary.
the creature outside of her window.
No.
Fluttershy returned Apple Bloom's stare, smiling and licking her
Sleepiness probably
lips.
tried to open the window or something, by the way.
Night
Oh,
9.
that is scary, no.
Earlier, Apple Bloom had overheard her older siblings talking
like how
about
it's looking at
doctors.
me.
She was aware they planned to send her to one. Whatever her siblings planned to do, Apple Bloom was confident her troubles would end soon
Oh,
enough.
it's scary. I have like a window right over there.
Apple
I'm
Bloom
terrified to
opened
look
her
at
window that night. She waited until the sun had almost sunk below the trees before she did so. Her family had dozed off a little while ago. Confident she was the only sleepless soul in the house, Apple Bloom left her bedroom and went downstairs. In the kitchen, Apple Bloom procured an old gas lamp. She also took the sharpest kitchen knife she could find from the drawer, far more useful than the garden hoe she'd chosen last time. But in this case, the purpose was not mere defense. Apple Bloom waited until darkness had truly fallen. Then she crept back to her room, the gas lamp held precariously in one hoof, and the knife handle in her mouth. Apple Bloom nudged the door open, inch by inch, careful to minimize any noise she
This guy's a
made.
great storyteller.
The creature was again lying in Apple Bloom's bed, the outline of its form underneath the covers. Apple Bloom placed the gas lamp on the floor.
Am I the only one?
She froze as it touched the floorboards with the slightest
Am I
thump,
the only who feels like something's gonna jump
but
out
she
on
saw
screen?
no evidence of the creature awakening at the sound.
Oh.
Apple Bloom held back a sigh of relief.
Oh, that's scary.
Apple Bloom waited a few more minutes to ascertain that the thing was asleep. She then approached the bed, knife still
Oh, the
clutched
noises.
tightly in her mouth. She was shaking, but she refused to hesitate in this moment of action. Apple Bloom reached the side of the bed and gently pressed both hooves against it. She eased herself up, carefully pulling herself onto the bed next to the creature. And then the creature moved. It was only a slight shift, as if it was trying to get comfortable. But it was enough to completely destroy Apple Bloom's nerve. Apple Bloom dropped the knife, a squeak of terror flying out of her mouth.
Oh, this is scary.
She pressed both hooves against her mouth. But it was far too late. The creature seemed to sense Apple Bloom was near, It moved in one swift, jerky motion, arching its back and bending its head in a way no normal pony could have managed.
Is that?
The creature gave a long growl, its body appearing to convulse as it threw the covers from it. Apple Bloom screamed, leaping from the bed. The creature leaped from the bed as well, moving in a way similar to a spider. It still resembled Fluttershy, but its neck was bent at an unnatural angle as if broken, bent to one side and upside down.
What is...
It regarded Apple Bloom with its upside-down grin, a grin extending far past what should have been possible. Its tongue hung limply from one side of its mouth, like that of an excited dog.
Oh no.
It was panting in eagerness.
It's kind of cute, actually. I'd keep that as a pet.
Applejack rushed into the room,
I'm trying
a gas
to cope,
lamp
bro.
in her hoof.
What in the hay is going on?
Applejack said breathlessly. But Apple Bloom could only whimper,
Bro, I
pointing a
feel
hoof
like
at the
something's
creature
down
that
here
now
with me.
stood in silent triumph near the
I
window.
really do. I'm not playing.
Applejack's eyes widened with bemusement and horror.
What in darnation?
The creature moved its neck again, adjusting its head to a more normal
I'm
position.
checking my garage
Its
after
face
this.
no longer even vaguely resembled Fluttershy. Instead, it had morphed into some twisted mockery of the shy pony's face. The mouth stretched even farther, the pupils smaller than pinpricks. It was breathing heavily, a tongue at least a foot long hanging from its gaping maw. Applejack threw the gas lamp at the creature. It shattered upon impact, setting the vile thing on fire.
Dude.
All at once, the creature's twisted face rearranged itself. It now became a more accurate representation of Fluttershy. The flames started to engulf it immediately. A scent not unlike that of sulfur rose as patches of its fur hastily burned away. The creature objected loudly, alternating between screams eerily similar to those of Fluttershy and deep screeches not unlike that of a tortured bird. The fur and flesh burned away at an unnatural rate, the screams and screeches continuing long after they should have ended.
Let's scream, bro.
The last to surrender to the inferno was the light pink mane.
That's a scary
After
image.
a few moments, all that remained was a charred skeleton.
It's dead. We won, boys. We won. GG's.
Apple Bloom and Applejack did not speak to each other. Neither spoke a word of the incident, even after Applejack had buried the body in a secluded part of the farm. In fact, they both took the secret to their graves.
Good idea.
Apple Bloom never again slept with her window open, even on particularly hot nights. Eventually, she was able to resume regular interaction with the real Fluttershy, although it took months before she could look her in the eye. And for a while after that, Apple Bloom would shudder every time Fluttershy smiled. The creature's smile would haunt her for the remainder of her days. Occasionally, on nights when it was particularly cold and the wind is close to howling, Apple Bloom will swear she hears a tapping at her window.
Am I still recording? Yeah.
But she never gets up to check.
Very good.
She merely snuggles deeper under her covers, willing herself to enter dreamland quicker. But it is a little harder to ignore
My legs up here, by the way.
the voice. It whispers to her, seemingly inches away from her ear.
Oh.
It sounds very much like Fluttershy.
What?
It's cold down here.
It's back. It freaking risen from the dead. No. Good story. Very good. Thank you for the nightmare artwork, Sonic Ring 123 Dubs. Thank you, Lost Narrator, for voicing Applejack, by the way. Love your channel. Hey, it was a Princess Luna creepypasta. Awesome. I'm about to do a reaction to that one because Luna's my favorite character. I'm not sleeping. Hey, look, it's the Bubbles creepypasta that I watched the other night, and I got scared from it. Awesome. And of course, My Little Pony's gonna play after this. What a great freaking idea! I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys want any other reaction, let me know. This is just something fun I thought I'd do because I can't sleep, and I maybe not be sleeping after this. So if you guys like it, like, comment, subscribe. I don't think I want to watch that listen to that story ever again.